Emotions are to us like dark matter and energy is to the universe. They are a big part of our experiences and behavior, even if we can't always see or define them. I have big feelings, as I've felt and been told by many, but you don't have to have big emotions for them to be a big part of your life. Emotional management and emotional wellness are a part of everyone's life. Many of our efforts are designed to bring us something we enjoy: food, love, shelter, entertainment, even solitude. We reach for joy even in the unlikeliest of situations. In contrast, we push away things we don't like, things that make us feel things we don't like specifically. There's nothing wrong with this on its own. Emotions have purpose and have served really important roles in our survival and evolution as humans. Think of fear keeping us away from dangerous animals, people, and places. Think of love uniting nations or tearing them apart. Even apathy has had its place. Masses of people have been apathetic to murder, rape, and genocide for as long as we have recorded history. Think human sacrifice from ancient times, to the colonization of European nations in the 1st century AD, to the slave trade, and the ongoing genocides of indigenous people worldwide. Masses of people stood by, unable or unwilling to feel enough to act. Emotions, or the lack of them, matter. So, what are emotions? I mean, we feel them, but knowing them is something else entirely. And are emotions and feelings the same thing? So, emotions are sensations in the body caused by the release of chemicals from the brain because of something that happened externally. They can feel intense but don't last longer than a few minutes. For example, when something is thrilling or excruciating. Feelings come after emotions. Feelings come from the thoughts we have about emotions. We can't change what we feel, such as pain or heartbreak, but by changing how we think about what we feel, we can change how we feel. What about moods? When I'm in a bad mood, what's that? That's how you feel over longer periods of time. Your mood can influence your thoughts, your behaviors, and your actions. There's a lot out there on this, but I really like an article from Dakota Family Therapy that I'll link in the notes. But at the end of the day, anger is anger, sadness is sadness, and so on, right? Sort of, but not really. Although many people in the world smile when happy and cry when sad, how we understand, embody, and emotionally respond to emotions and feelings varies by individual, region, and culture. Think about crying. How does the idea of crying make you feel? What does it make you think? I think release, but I used to think hold back. And I did, until I became a mom. Then I began to let myself cry to heal. I remember watching Toy Story 3 with my son, who was around 5 at the time. I bawled my eyes out when Andy gave away Woody and the toys. My son, who wasn't crying, comforted me by saying, "It's okay, Mom. They're just toys." Many people are taught to express sadness without shame, but many people are taught not to show sadness or fear because it is thought of as a weakness. Notice it is in how we think about an emotion that determines how we feel. People who don't think about sadness with shame are more likely to express it in healthy ways. People who think about sadness as a weakness may not. This is true for how we are taught to feel and express all emotions. We are taught emotional intelligence by our families and communities, or lack thereof. How we feel and express is driven by our cultural identities. So your cultural identity has everything to do with how you create meaning, and very little to do with the color of your skin. Colonization, which we define as the systemic oppression of all aspects of life for some people by other people for the benefit of few, definitely had an impact on emotional wisdom and practices worldwide. Think about pride. Pride is not something any conquering power would encourage or even allow the communities they oppress to feel. The example of pride, the social movement supporting LGBTQIA+ experiences and rights, is a resistance to the oppression of pride in lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, intersex, and asexual communities. Think about anger. Think about a man raising his voice to get his point across. Think about a woman showing frustration with a sharp tone. How we see these things reveals any biases we may have regarding who is allowed to feel or show what. Emotional experience is heavily gendered in the world we live in today. I really appreciate this article, Western Conceptions of Depression and the Colonization of Women's Emotions by Mad in America. Particularly the idea that emotions are not internal and separate, but communal and local, meaning what happens with other people and around you impact your emotional wellness. That's from the paper. Quote, emotions have a public, contagious, and physical quality to them, and they bind people together, end quote. I also really like this point from the paper, that emotional illness is not pathological, but connected to socioeconomic factors. I also like this point, quote, the emotions that underlie depression are those that contribute positively to experiencing sensitivity to our social and spiritual connectedness to nature and our cherished relationships, end quote. I'm a woman who has worked through and is working through depression now. I'm sensitive to social and spiritual connectedness, nature, and close relationships. I feel great joy and unity, but also deep sadness, loss, and anxiety when big changes happen in these areas. The transition to fall is a tough one for me. I've been working through a lot of sadness and a lack of motivation for about a month. I say working because I have practices from faith, science, art, and community that I use to sustain wellness. I also collect and use perspectives and stories to bring light, courage, and peace to my being when I need it. Are you looking to shore up your wellness practices before the dark months? Well, check out our Creative Decolonization podcast on RSS, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or other places for practices and perspectives to help with emotional wellness. If you want something more hands-on, I'll be leading a wellness workshop on Saturday, September 23rd from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. This workshop is on identifying cultural strengths to support balance during the dark times. Some takeaways are an evergreen worksheet to help you identify aspects of your cultural identity you are proud of and empowered by. Insight into your own mind-body connectedness associated with physical, emotional, mental, and/or spiritual pain. And a personalized wellness plan that integrates research-based practices to support balance during the dark times. Until next time, with kindness.